one boy and girl came to me and said, Swamiji, please give us your blessings. We have decided to take the 7 circles around the fire to get married. I called the boy aside and said, why do you wish to marry this girl? He said, Swamiji, she is very beautiful. Her father is very rich and she loves me very much. I will get great happiness from her. I then called the girl aside and asked her, why do you wish to marry this boy? She said, Swamiji, he has a very promising corporate career. He is very dashing and handsome, and he takes great care of me. I then got them both together and said, look, both of you wish to marry the other for your own happiness, not for the happiness of the other. And the moment your happiness is affected or lessened, the love will reduce. People make statements like, I don't feel any love for my spouse any longer. I don't know what has happened. So what to do now? I'm just waiting for the love to come back. These poor people don't realize that love is not a feeling. Love is a verb. It's something that we do to choose loving sentiments. That is the key. If you wish to strengthen it, learn to be more selfless. Unfortunately, we don't even realize that when we think we are doing things for others' sake, we are still motivated by selfishness. Ponder over it. In all our relationships, we are motivated by this expectation of return, reward, and reciprocation. So if only we can learn to drop this. First try to understand and then be understood. Make sacrifice and service the goal in your relationship. You will then discover that you have found the art of a much healthier and stronger relationship.
This question is twofold. One, is there such a thing as a soulmate? And secondly, recently I had gone to a wedding, and the priest had said something to the effect of that the bridegroom will be together for the next 7 lifetimes, which I found a bit unfair, because is this written actually in scripture? And suppose you're not too keen on your partner and you're just, stuck, or you're doing everything in this lifetime, coming to Swamiji's lectures, attaining God, Tyag, all of that, karma yoga, and your partner's still bound in Maya, so you're still stuck with them. So it comes back to the whole question of, is there truly a soulmate?
One husband and wife had been married for 25 years. The husband had a very foul nature, and the wife was very placable, amenable. Husband once shared his sentiments. He said, my darling, I have been so unfair and harsh upon you so many times, and yet you have never become upset upon me. You are definitely my soulmate, if ever there was one. But tell me, how did you used to handle your frustration? The wife said, that every time I got frustrated with your scoldings, all I did was to go and clean the toilet seat. The husband said, but how does that give vent to the frustrations? The wife said, I used to use your toothbrush. So, it's always good to believe that you have found a soulmate, but that's not the reality. The soul is eternal. And these worldly relationships are of one lifetime. A soulmate would be one who is eternally with you. Now, the problem with the worldly relationships is that we have the three gunas, the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, sattva, rajas, and tamas. And that is why the husband's chitta vritti or temperament is rotating in these three modes. The wife's temperament is also rotating in these three modes. It is only natural that from time to time there is going to be conflict, from time to time there's going to be disagreement. A soulmate would be one where there is no question of any disagreement. Alright? Plus, no matter how much they try, they cannot rise beyond selfishness. The only person who can rise beyond selfishness is one who has achieved the bliss of God, because then the self-interest is realized. That person can love selflessly. Everybody else, they may say wonderful things. Tum to hamare pran pyare ho. Right? You are dearer to me than my life heirs. They may say such things, but when supposing two lovers are sitting, saying to each other, Tum to hamare pran pyare ho, just throw a rubber snake between the two of them. Not an actual snake, just a rubber snake. And then see how they run to save their own pran. To hell with the pran pyara. Everybody loves their own body, their own life heirs, their own soul. So the real soulmate is God. The word in Sanskrit is sambandh. Sambandh means that personality with whom you have got a complete and eternal relationship. So our soulmate is God, whether we realize it or we don't realize it. Nevertheless, in the materially conditioned state, if you can find a partner who helps you, if the two of you can help each other along this journey, to a reasonable extent you can say, all right, maybe you are not soulmates, but at least you are partners on the journey. Otherwise, very often, there's so much of a conflict. It's a makeshift arrangement. Make it as amenable as you can. Don't have too high expectations. Now, if you have, expectations going by what people write, that you have this soulmate whom you will find and then you will live happily ever after, then there's no doubt you will feel disappointed. And sometimes in American society, you keep on doing rehearsals. This person is not soulmate, this person is not soulmate. So you keep running after the elusive soulmate. Instead of that, just make the bad bargain work to the best extent possible and try and utilize the situation, the position to go towards God. Everybody is trying to love God, and yet we are not succeeding. What is the reason for that? we have not understood the meaning of love. We are making a mistake there. We are going to God, हे भगवान मेरा बेटा ठीक नहीं है, ठीक हो जाए. Oh God, I am very poor, please make me rich. Oh God, my daughter is not getting married, please get her married. Oh God, I am not getting married, please help me get married. In other words, we go to God and we ask Him for material things. So this is not love. This is the mistake we are making. We need to understand there are three things: love, lust, and business. Love, the reverse, lust, and in between, business. Where the sentiment is to give, 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 that is love. Where the sentiment is take, 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 that is lust, self-love. Where the sentiment is to give and take, give and take, give and take, that is business. So in the world, we have never learned to love. People may say, they can tell each other, I love you, I love you. But that is all a fake. According to the Vedic definition, nobody loves anybody else. In the world, everybody is loving the other for their happiness. This is what the Vrihadaranyaka Upanishad is telling us. न वारे पत्युः कामाय पति प्रियो भवत्यात्मनस्तु कामाय पति प्रियो भवति न वारे जायाये कामाय जाया प्रिया भवत्यात्मनस्तु कामाय जाया प्रिया भवति न वारे पुत्राणां कामाय पुत्रः प्रिया भवत्यात्मनस्तु कामाय पुत्रः प्रिया भवति न वारे वित्त कामाय वित्तं प्रियं भवत्यात्मनस्तु कामाय वित्तं प्रियं भवति न वारे सर्वस्य कामाय सर्वं प्रियं भवत्यात्मनस्तु कामाय सर्वं प्रियं भवति आत्मा वारे दृष्टव्य श्रोतव्यो मंतव्यो निदिध्यासितव्यो मैत्रेयी. This is in the Vrihadaranyaka Upanishad. Yagyavalkya Rishi is telling his wife Maitreyi. He says, Maitreyi, in this world no husband loves the wife for the wife's sake. He loves the wife for his sake. No wife loves the husband for the husband's sake. She loves the husband for her own sake. No father loves the son for the son's sake. He loves the son for his own sake. No son loves the father for the father's sake. He loves the father for his own sake. Wherever we love, it is always for our own sake. This is the nature of this world. And why is the world like this? Because everybody wants happiness. We are tiny parts of the ocean of happiness, which is God. So it is our nature to seek happiness. And until we get the happiness of God, we will not be satisfied. We will keep trying. For what? For our own happiness. And wherever we get it, we will love. Wherever we don't get it, there will be no love. So, we think, oh, I'm loving the other for his sake and he is not doing anything from me. What a bewafa, disloyal he is. But Vedas say everybody is loving for their own sake. Don't love him for the sake of your happiness. Love him for the sake of his happiness. See, that's what we did in the world. We loved the whole world for our sake. Two people were doing hiking on a mountain. when they found a bear in front. Now imagine a 350-pounder with these 10 claws, and if you sight him at 100 yards, how scary it is. So one of them turned around to run. The other said, it's no use running. Bears are really fast. You can't outrun him. He said, who's concerned about outrunning him? I'm concerned about outrunning you. Because if I outrun you, my job is done. That is the philosophy of this world. Everybody cares for themselves, fends for themselves. When the French Revolution was taking place and the heads of noblemen were being cut, this news reached a person who used to sell hats. His business was to sell hats and caps. So he heard that the heads of the royalty are being cut. He said, really, what will happen to my hat business? He's not concerned about their heads, he's concerned about his hat business. So the fact is, before God realization, we are all concerned about our own happiness. And for the sake of our happiness, we love, even when we go to the divine realm, we love God and Guru for our happiness. Now that needs to be corrected if we wish to relish the bliss of divine love. So the definition of love is Avirbhavana dinena yena gapito hetustadiyana pikshiye tapina chaparadi vidhina natyanayo ardhate. Where there is no hetu. What is hetu? Cause. I love him because. Where there is no hetu, that is love. The hetu is the cause. So that cause, moment the cause comes, it becomes business. You know, one disciple, he went to the Guruji and he said, Guruji, if I take the name of God, what will I get? What will I get? Guruji said, you must be a businessman. You first think of what I get, then you think of what I can do. So that is our formula that we apply. But when we step this realm of divine love, there should be no cause. In other words, what will I get is not thought. Only what can I give and give and give. Actually, mystics in different traditions have understood the secret of the universe. Saint Francis of Assisi said, O Lord, let me seek not so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying to the little self that we are born to eternal life. So in our practice of spirituality, we have to repeatedly pay heed to this principle. Just before the lecture, somebody was asking me that Swamiji, everything we do in the world is based on selfishness. How will it go away? It will require practice. That means we bring this principle to the mind. The goal of my love is not my happiness, it is his happiness. And when we repeatedly practice, that will develop the seva bhav, the desire to serve. So that seva bhav is the manifestation of devotion. In other words, the love in the heart manifests in the desire to serve, the desire to do something for the beloved, or at least mentally hope the happiness of the beloved. And the consequence of such love is that it can never be destroyed. That is the final test of selfless love. Sarvatha dhvansa rahitam satyapi dhvansa karane yadbhava bandhanam yuno saprema parikirtitah. Dhvans is a very powerful Hindi word, means destruction. So this verse says, where there is a cause for love to explode. In other words, our beloved has done something terrible to us. We are loving him and he does something terrible to us. And yet our love does not get destroyed. That is true love. That is love. So that should always be our acid test, and we should keep decorating our love so that we reach that point one day. So why does love not get destroyed? Because it is not engaged in for selfish reasons. The reason for destruction is my self-interest was not fulfilled, it was harmed. And moment it is selfless, then the beloved is free to do whatever he likes. So even in Madhur Bhav, Madhurya Bhav, there were categories. There is Samartharati, Samanjasarati, Sadharani Rati. So the love of Kubja, she looked on Krishna as her beloved. But her devotion was characterized by the desire for self-happiness. And the queens of Dwarika, they looked also on Krishna as their divine husband. However, the nature of their devotion was they wanted their happiness and also Krishna's happiness. And the gopis of Vrindavan, they actually manifested such selfless love. Swa sukha vasana gandhalesh shunya Shri Krishna sukhaika tatparyamai bhakti. So this then becomes one of the most important things in this path of divine love. Are you totally selfless? Now nobody is, but we have to practice and slowly bring this point into us.